You want to know the weird habits that drastically improved my life with little to no effort? Over the last year and a half, I implemented, some by accident, some by choice, that made such a significant change that I thought it would be interesting for you to know. I will be revealing them as we go, so I will start with the more simple, practical weird ones and go to the most weirdest ones of them all that actually had a pretty significant impact in my life. So if you want to know the really strange ones, make sure you stick all the way to the end. But let's first get the conventional habits out of the way. Walking 10,000 steps a day, eating more plants, no alcohol, reducing social media, and finding more hobbies. And since you know them already, I sorted out 12 weird ones that we can go through this video. So make sure you stick through the end. I like it clean. And if you like it clean too, you probably heard of the 2-minute rule. I figured this rule does not work for me. I started implementing the 20-second do not touch twice rule. It's a habit that I started doing because I realized it's a way for me to get everything in organized and everything tidy the way I like it without having all this effort in my life. And let me explain a little bit how it works. If you heard of the 2-minute rule, you know already that it means if you can get it done within 2 minutes, you're just gonna do it right away. But I find this not really close to reality because 2 minutes, it's actually really long time, and I figured I'm gonna rephrase this rule about if it takes me less than 20 seconds and I have to touch it twice, then I will do it right away. And this way it keeps everything organized and it keeps my effort to a very low minimum. For example, if I do my laundry, I take the stuff, I fold it while I put it in the basket, because otherwise I would have to touch it again, get it out the basket, start folding again. And another example would be putting your dirty dishes away, because it would take you to touch it twice if you put it in the sink first and then you have to come back later and put it in the dishwasher, if you're lucky to have one. But I started having a dishwasher and it's been amazing. I haven't had a dishwasher in so many years, and having a dishwasher is such a game changer, but that's a topic for another time. I just realized if you really do this, you're gonna reduce the amount of effort you're gonna use in your day. The other example would be if you're really hungry for some chocolate, make sure you get 2 pieces or 3 pieces the first time so you avoid having to come back. Just kidding, but that's just the idea of it. I stopped opening emails. The next game changer I did was I stopped opening emails before I was fully closed and was sitting on a desk, because I used to wake up very early and then with one eye I would just look at my phone and get the most uncouth emails you could possibly think of, and it would just set me up for such a negative start of the day. So I really made myself the promise to not open my emails before I was fully closed on a desk. Preferably not before 10 a.m. because I realized those emails that I was getting, especially if you're dealing with lawyers, you do not want to open those emails in the morning. It just sets you up for a negative day. And so, yeah, that was a really big game changer for me. Besides not opening social media, obviously, really not opening those emails, because it gets so tempting because you want to see what's in for the day. What do I have to get done? If there's maybe something positive, maybe there's a great email coming in. But most of the time, I've been getting really negative emails in the last 2 years. So I made myself the promise not to open up emails. And I even told my dad about it. And he was like, oh, this is so smart. And the other day, he was like, oh man, I broke the rule. I opened up the email. I shouldn't have done that. Try not to open emails at 10 o'clock. I know not everyone can do it, but just at least have the rule that you don't open them until you're fully dressed, because I think no employer would expect you to open up emails when you just one eye open. So that brought so much positivity in my life, and it's so small. So I recommend you do that and try it out for yourself. When I say I get compliments all the time for my smells, it's not to brag, it's the reality. I have been getting a lot of compliments on my smells when I pass people, when I hang out with people, like, oh, it smells so good. What is this? What perfume are you using? And no, I'm not using perfumes because it gives me the greatest headaches of all time. I don't like perfumes. I've not had a single perfume that didn't give me headaches. So what I like to use is essential oils. And I'm not here to tell you essential oils are going to cure cancer, but it's a way for you to uplift. It really has some impact, especially in my life. When I try to take my daughter to bed, I've been trying to have a little bit of lavender oil in the room, and I feel like makes her a little sleepy. So I use essential oil. It's just lightweight. It doesn't give me headache. It's just a nice way to smell nice without having a heavy perfume on you that's sweet vanilla. I use it for cleaning too. I put some essential oils with some vinegar and that's just my cleanest. I try to really use essential oils in different aspects of my life. I know there's a lot of different companies out there that are selling, especially network marketing companies that are selling essential oils. I don't have a brand to recommend. I just try to make sure it's pure, it's organic. I think that's really important. I know some essential oils can really range and go really expensive, but scents I like are usually something fresh, which would be like a lemon scent. This is one blend I really like. It's like a focused blend. It won't cure anything. I won't make those claims, but it will lift you up and make you feel like you're in a better mood. So that's another tip I recommend you do. Next game changer I have for you is reducing the input of media. And no, I'm not telling you to stay on the rock and pretend you're ignorant and nothing in this world happened. But if you understand that negativity sells, you realize very quickly that you're bombarded and it really has a negative impact on your mental health. At least it was for me, because I believe humans are not meant to know all the bad things that are happening constantly around the world. And so I think it is really important to stay informed and to stay updated about current events in the world. However, I do believe that if you can reduce it to the amount of input, especially before bed and when you're just waking up, I think it really can improve your life. So I know this might be a little controversial, because I do believe it is important to update about current events in the world, but really trying to not focus only on negative news is something that I try to focus and implement in my life. And I also find it really sad that because negativity sells so well, you barely ever see positive things happening in the world. I mean, there's so many new positive things, and actually on social media sometimes you see it more that there's positive things happening. If someone invents something cool, if something positive is happening for climate change, there's so many cool things that are happening, but I feel like, and especially news outlets out there, are just really focusing on negativity rather than also what are positive things. Maybe there's a new species, maybe there's a new recycling solution, maybe there's an improvement of people's behavior regarding recycling. I mean, there's so many positive things also in this world that are not broadcasted. And so I try to minimize the consumption of news, especially media, around all the bad things that are happening all the time currently. So I know I don't want to sound ignorant, but I think that's just so important for your mental health, not to get the constant negativity that's out in the world bombarded onto you. Doesn't mean you should never pick up a newspaper. Doesn't mean you should never watch the news. It's just like finding a way that's a healthy balance on the negativity and also staying updated. The next thing I implemented in my life, where I first thought, oh, this is so smart, convenient, and easy, it's going to make my life so much better, is actually deleting purchasing apps, especially Amazon. I try not to shop there anyways. Whether it's Amazon or different stores, I cut down those purchasing apps because yes, it sounds convenient, but it also is such a money eating machine, because you're just grabbing your phone and it's so easy to order something and you end up ordering a lot of junk that you probably don't even need. I realized it was like, oh, it would be smart to have this, and then you just go on Amazon and just order something and it's probably really bad quality. Especially on Amazon lately, you can tell there's a lot of drop shipping and a lot of stuff that people are reselling for super cheap. My parents are in the Amazon business. They don't sell junk. They actually sell from their own store, where my mom's into organic felts and stuff, and actually she does sell more expensive on Amazon, which I'm probably not supposed to say, but Amazon is not really something I would like to support, especially because there's a lot of people who are offering bad quality for cheaper. So I don't recommend their shopping at all. But the reality is the purchasing apps on your phone is something that I realized impacts you negatively, not because you're spending more money, but it's mostly because you constantly get alerts and notifications. But it also is a way to protect your privacy, because everything you buy on these apps are tracked, and you get more advertising and you get more bombarded on social media with those types of things. So I recommend really getting rid of those apps, because it gives you time to really think about, am I actually needing this, or is it just something out of convenience that I think it would be fun? It really is an easy way to take control of your spending and simplify your life by not being on those purchasing apps. I know this is not super strange, but this is a smart move I incorporated in my life because I realized I was just buying stuff I don't really need. The thing I get asked quite often is, what the hell are you doing there? And it's something that's really old school, but it really changed my life. It was starting to knit again. I know you're thinking, what the hell? What is this for? The reason why I originally started knitting was because I wanted to quit the scrolling, especially the short form content, because it's so draining, robs so much of your energy. And really, at the end of the day, what do you get? You get silly videos. And yes, it's fun for entertainment. But how often do we really scroll for hours? And it's just not meant to be good. I don't believe it's supposed to be good. So I've thought, what could I do that actually is equally as addictive as scrolling? And I started knitting again. And so I've been making a couple of sweaters, which has been really fun. And the worst part, actually, how it started was I would catch myself watching TV and then scrolling simultaneously. And I was like, this is bad. This is really bad. Actually, really close family friends of mine also knits, and I was like, wow, you're knitting, I should be knitting. This is great. She influenced me in a good way. And it's such a game changer because you can pick it up wherever. And I think if you think about something that you can find that is equally as addictive but also accessible to you, because the reality is a phone is so accessible to you all the time. So it's such a quick grab to just be bored and just instantly go on your phone. Try to find something that you can pick up. Other great alternative is crocheting. No, I'm just kidding. Like, just try to pick up something. Could be reading. I mean, reading is such a great way to expand your mind and just to get educated on something. Trying to really find something that you enjoy doing that you can take on the go with you. Knitting is a weird one, but I'm sure there's other hobbies you could pick on the go that you could just do whenever you try to grab your phone. Just grab your alternative, and it really will reduce your screen time. I dramatically reduced my screen time because I started knitting. That's a weird habit I started doing that I recommend you do because it's such a game changer for your mental health. And also, at the end of the day, you have something. Like, when I scroll social media, I don't have anything from that. I have a nice sweater when I finish this. And so I've been doing a lot of sweaters, which maybe shows how much I was on social media. But yeah, at the end of the day, you have something physical and you're like, wow, this is cool. I made this. And actually, I had people ask me the sweater I was wearing, where did you buy it? And you should have seen my face when I said I made it. It was a very proud moment because I was like, you can make that yourself. You can't buy it. And so it's something fun. So I recommend you do find some hobby that you can pick on the go. And I know it's not in every case scenario, and it's not like every day you put it up. Like, I know when you're on the go, you're not always going to bring this. But especially at home, when you find yourself at night and you're feeling like, oh, I want to scroll on social media. I'm like, oh, no, I'm going to knit throughout the day. And especially at home, I find this a good alternative to quit the addiction. The next thing I incorporated was new foods. And I know this is not a super weird hack, but that's a really good way to improve your life, is to really incorporate new foods. And the book I recently have been enjoying is by Otto Lengi, because he has a lot of vegetarian foods, and it's just such a different experience. And just having to go off a list and just seeing different varieties of food that you can combine that I didn't think of before is something I really enjoy doing, and it really improved my life because I've been eating pesto pasta for so long and I get so tired of it sometimes, where I'm like, another pesto pasta, another taco. I cannot stand it anymore. I need to do something else. So I try to incorporate books, but also on YouTube. There's a lot of really great YouTubers out there who make fantastic, even meals for low budgets and just quick and easy recipes that I love. And so if you know someone that you enjoy watching for cooking, I would love to know, comment, and I would definitely check them out, because I'm actually obsessed with people who make really great, easy, affordable lunches or dinners. There's so much we don't know, and I was proven that again actually yesterday when my au pair said she liked my cooking, which I was happy about, because I was a little bit nervous because I cook vegetarian, and I know it's not everyone's shoe, but everyone's shoe, do you say that? I don't think so. Anyways, it's not everyone's deal to eat vegetarian food, but that was the deal. I told everyone that I interviewed for the position that I only would cook vegetarian food. And so she said she's been loving it, and she's like, oh, I never thought about combining those two ingredients. And she's like, I've never had good vegetarian food before. And it's just such a good reminder that sometimes we just need to switch up our food and not just eat what we used to on the regular basis. So try incorporating new foods, and it definitely will make you feel better. So yeah, new foods, good way, good habit, not eating the same thing all day long. It's a good way to improve your life. Another fun thing that I incorporated that actually helped my life so much and cleared up, gave me so much more freedom, was starting a donation box. And you don't have to convince me to get rid of stuff because I love it. I'm not a knick-knack queen that could open up a souvenir shop. I actually live a pretty simple life in a way of my belongings and everything that I buy. However, there's things that I get gifted or I just realized don't have use anymore. And so what I started doing was a donation box, which is in my house. And whenever I find something, I would put it in, and once a month I would go donate the whole box. That would ease up my way of accumulating and not having to go for one item because you're like, oh, I'm not going to go to the store just to donate one item. But if you accumulate over a month, you realize it's so much easier to get rid of stuff. And it's a great way to declutter, a great way to have more space in your home, and also to get rid of stuff and knowing it's for a person that can actually use it. Because if it's just laying in your drawer, if it's not having any use, what are you doing with it? Someone else could be using it. So I love going to a thrift store because I always find really good goodies. You could also ask your friends first and see if anyone wants it. I used to do that all the time. I would just send a text like, hey, do you want this salad bowl? I don't need it. I have already one. And sometimes they would say yes and sometimes no. And if you're trying to declutter your life, but you don't want this whole purge of having a whole afternoon going through all your items, but you just gradually wanted to clear up your drawers, your closet, just have a box dedicated in your garage or your room where you can just keep adding things. And when it's full, usually that happens like once a month. I know it's crazy. I don't even have that much. It's just toys and things that are laying around that I don't use. Go donate it. It's super easy, fun way to incorporate into your life. I have a friend who's a doctor. I know, a little flex right there. Anyways, she was telling me about how important it is to take B12. And I was telling her how I always felt so tired because I don't like to drink a lot of coffee because it makes me jittery. And so I was telling her I can't really get the energy that I need to chase a toddler all day. And so basically she was telling me about B12 and how this is responsible for producing red blood cells, which basically carry the oxygens to your cells, which helps you not to be so tired all the time. And so when you're lacking B12, your body's not efficiently sending the oxygen to your muscles, and therefore you feel more tired, more just drowsy. And I really started doing this, especially in the noon. I would take oxygen. I would take B12, and it really gave me this kick. I could literally feel it, which is so bizarre. I have to take B12 anyways because I don't eat any meat, and so I have to supplement it anyways, but that was just a way for me to also wake up at the same time. So I would kind of be cautious about not taking it at night because it would keep me up at night. And so if you're feeling a little bit tired throughout the day, or you're just not feeling like you can't get stuff done, it's really like taking a B12. I like to take it either in water, so there's those tablets that you can just dissolve in water, and it also helps me drink more water because I'm not the best at drinking enough water. I'm one of the most dehydrated queens out there you could possibly think of. But yeah, I try to use it with water, so I drink more water. But there's like powders and there's all types of things that you can get that. So yeah, just talk to your doctor and make your research on which ones are the best. I don't want to recommend any brands. So if you're feeling tired and you have tried it all and you don't want to drink a lot of caffeine, or you don't want to drink a bunch of stuff, B12 worked for me really great. When is the last time you were actually bored? And I mean really bored. I think something that we forgot and unlearned as a society is being bored. Remember when you were a child and you would walk to school and you would just be so bored waiting at the bus stop? You just were bored. You didn't know what to do. Like there would maybe be one advertising on the bus stop and you would read that, or you would just try to get distracted, but there wasn't really anything you could do. And so most of the time on your way to school and back, you would be pretty bored, or you would sit at home. I was a child. I was so bored so many times where I didn't have crazy toys, or I didn't have anything that would distract me. I was never allowed to watch TV, so that was never an option. And so being bored again is something that's so important, and we completely unlearned this as a society. I mean, you can even see that when you go to the grocery store and you see people waiting in line to put down their groceries, and I'm guilty of that sometimes, and they can't wait those 10 seconds, so they're on their phone scrolling because they cannot handle being bored. And yeah, sometimes there might be an important message that people are replying, but I think a lot of the times people are just trying to pass time. even on the toilet. They can't just sit there and do their thing. They have to be on the phone. So I think being bored again is something that I really encourage you to include as a new habit, and really try to be bored. It helps you expand your mind. It declutters everything. So I try to give myself times where I'm just bored, where I don't listen to podcasts, where I don't scroll on social media. I just try to be bored. And then I start appreciating things more. It really gives your mind a chance to wonder, and you start noticing things that you might have not noticed before. So I really recommend it. It's something to learn, and it takes practice. I know it sounds crazy, but it does take practice. And I think the more you do it, the more you let your mind wander and not think about a specific thing or just try to be bored, it really expands your mind, and you will start noticing things that you didn't. And you will actually participate more in life. When I'm at the register, I make it a point not to be on my phone, and I communicate with people, especially see it with older people. Like, you have maybe an older person in front of you and they want to talk to you, but because you're on your phone, you're not really approachable. Or you may be at a party and you're constantly on your phone, or you're at a cafe, you're constantly on your phone. No one wants to interrupt anybody. So if you're more approachable that way too, it really expands your mind, and it expands your connections, because people feel like, oh, I can actually talk to this person. They're not busy on their phone doing something, because probably most of the time you're not busy on your phone. You just don't like being bored. The next one is a really weird one, and there's a whole subreddit about it, so it's not from me. I picked it up somewhere. Unfortunately, I don't remember where. But try eat an orange when you shower. It's the weirdest thing, but it's insane. I don't know if it's essential oils. That's when you peel the orange in the shower. It feels like nice, but it tastes really good. I only shower outdoors, so for me it's great because there's no mess or anything. But you should try eating an orange when you shower. Try for yourself. I don't do that every day I shower. But when I have a moment for myself and I want to have a great shower, I bring an orange. And I know it's super weird, but you should try it out for yourself. This is the section with the weird tip. These are not the drink more water, stay healthy. These are the weird things you got to try out to improve your life. So if you're into a spa-like, emotional, happy experience, just eat a orange in the shower and you feel so much better after, I promise. I can't be the only one that puts all the clothes into the wash machine, and what comes out, only one of the socks. I have been having that so many times, and I swear there has to be some kind of secret why my wash machine is eating all my socks. However, this resulted in me always having single different color socks, which was super annoying because, for one, I didn't care about it, so people would always like, oh, you have two different socks, and I was like, yeah, I know. And so what I started doing, and it was kind of by accident, is I ordered the same socks, same color. I basically got rid of all the socks I had because I barely had any left. It was like 3 socks, different colors, and I ordered the same socks in the same size, same size, obviously. I realized I like those specific types of socks, and so I ordered the same color. All I have is one type of sock, all the same color, so it's so much easier when I'm doing my laundry. All the socks are coming out and I can just pair whatever because they're all the same. There's no difference in trying to match them and getting frustrated that some are missing because they're still missing. But at least I still, whenever there's an extra one missing, then I can put the 2 single ones together. So that is such a game changer. I know it's such a small thing, but when you feel like, oh, I have to buy new socks again, try to buy the same ones, same color. I just have simple black socks, the same ones that I can use for, I know there's a trend of like long socks and short socks. I just have the short socks because that's how I like it. But yeah, that was just a tip I really enjoyed because I realized it was actually saving me time when doing the laundry because I just pair any sock together and it would work, and no one is telling me now that I have 2 different socks on, which has also been a little perk in my life. I know this is not a cute, fancy, bougie topic, but if it saves me time, I'd love to share that because I feel like those tips are the ones that I appreciate because it makes my life easier, especially as a mom. If you do so much laundry, you appreciate every second that you save by simplifying your life. And I hope you enjoy this tip. This is a bonus one, but I stopped buying dupes. I know it's such a trend, you can see it, and it's very tempting. A lot of times I see on social media, buy these really expensive pants for just an eighth of the price, but mostly you will pay with quality. And I know some say, oh, it's the same manufacturer. Not always. 99% of the time probably isn't. And I realized not buying dupes is not just like helping you live more simple and not having so much clutter because you're just so tempted to buy all these clothes. You also diminish the value you put towards clothing. And I think when I started knitting, I realized it takes me weeks to make a sweater. And it's insane like how we just buy things and throw them away like there's nothing. And so I really started incorporating not buying dupes, and really trying to buy ethically made clothing, although I know it's not always possible and not everyone can afford to buy sustainable clothing. But also just consuming less sometimes can help you not have all this junk in your house. I know not everyone is in a position to buy ethically made clothing, but the amount of clothes we buy these days is absolutely insane. When I see people with hauls of like bags and bags and bags of clothing, I barely ever shop. And so I realized every item I've ever bought, especially if it wasn't on sale, I cherished this item for a very, very, very long time. I realized things that are on sale, everything nowadays is on sale. And I can tell you, for someone who worked in retail, I worked many years in retail stores, some things never actually make the real price. They come and become instantly sale. So I would have to mark the clothing down when they arrive. I think the psychology behind sales and always having to get a deal is super annoying. Always having to find a discount code. That's why I love my mom's business. She has very strict sales once every blue moon for people who are subscribed to her email list, getting rid of that mentality of always having to get something on sale, because you're not saving 50%, you're spending 50%, which you probably wouldn't have if the item wasn't on sale. I stopped buying dupes and tried to buy good stuff, the original ones that also honor the person who made them and came up with the idea, because that's another thing. There's so much infringement of creativity and artists, and I'm not talking about copying some super famous thing. I'm talking about a lot of small bikini brands, for example, that where they're ethically made, they put a lot of effort into making the designs, and then you see some cheap manufacturer just copy the exact same thing without giving any credits, without permission, without any acknowledgement that that might have been a creator that worked on this campaign for many years, and they just put it out for really cheap. And so yeah, try not to support that. Try to support small businesses. A lot of small businesses actually are not more expensive. If you look on Instagram or TikTok or on YouTube, you find small artists who actually don't sell their clothes for very expensive. And so yeah, I tried doing that. Looked on Pinterest, Etsy, the places to try to find quality goodies that aren't breaking the bank and support someone. So don't buy the junk. I think there's this saying that says we cannot control how other people treat us, but we can control how we treat ourselves. So I hope you take those little habits by heart, and I know some of them were kind of strange, but these are just some that I incorporated, and you don't have to do them all, but maybe try a few and see how they impact your life. And maybe you have some weird ones or normal ones that you can just put in the comments, and I would love to read them and maybe share them with others, and we can all improve our life by adding some weird habits to make this experience in life a little bit more pleasant and fun. So I'm really dedicating myself now to this channel because now I finally have some time. I got an au pair, which is absolutely amazing. She's such a sweetheart, and she's been helping me out with my daughter, so now I actually have time to film and make videos that have more meaning, that have more depth. And so if you're enjoying this, feel free to connect and feel free to consider subscribing, because there's more videos coming. And so I'm really excited to see you in the next video. One of the biggest struggles I had in my life was discipline, because I waited last second to get the project done, to finish the paper for university, to get a project done for clients. So I really struggled with this my whole life. And if you're struggling with this too, I made another video where all I talk about is how to be more disciplined and how you can hack your life so you get things done not last minute. So feel free to check this video out right here. It's a game changer.